In this day and age, you will no longer find a 2-year contract as a foreign educated nurse who wants to work in the United States as a USRN. Back in the days, I signed for a 2-year contract. My agency was HCCA. They are no longer in existence, but there are several agencies that you can check out. I will link it in the description down below. In today's episode, I will give you 10 points to consider when scrutinizing your contract, because nowadays they will ask you to sign a 3-year contract. Comment down below if there's still an agency that will let you sign a 2-year one. So without further ado, let's go to the first one. Number 1 is base salary. So how will you know the base salary of a nurse? It varies in all 50 states. What people make in Arizona with 2-year contract will be different for the nurses who are working in New York and California. Those are 2 of the most expensive states to live, followed by Oregon. So how will I know, Nurse Rebecca, if the agency is giving me the right rate as a nurse? You have to visit BLS. That's Bureau of Labor Statistics. I will link it in the description down below, and I will do my best to link some articles that will help you determine whether your agency is offering you the right rate. Next, do they have a bonus? Will you have a sign-on bonus? How much will it be and how will you be paid? Will it be given in one go, which I doubt? Most sign-on bonuses are given at the beginning of your contract and towards the end. In other agencies, just like my old agency, it was given to us every 6 months within that 2-year period. Next, make sure that you have a medical benefit. It should include medical, dental, and vision. Do they have a short-term disability program? Do they have a long-term disability program? Next, it should also include the retirement plan. The most common one is the 401k. Next, ask them about the work condition, which includes the nurse-patient ratio. If you will be working in a SNF or skilled nursing facility, the nurse-patient ratio is higher. You might be taking care of 22 patients, 1 nurse to 22 patients. You have to be very clear. But if you will work in an acute facility, 1 to 4, maybe maximum of 5 to 6 in a medical surgical unit, 1 to 2 in ICU, and 1 to 4 in a telemetry unit. What's the shift? Is it going to be 12 hours or 8 hours? It should be clearly stated in your contract. I want to emphasize the facility placement. Make sure that you know where you are going. That way you can anticipate and research ahead of time. Next, your contract should clearly state your housing condition when you arrive in the United States. Make sure that you have a place to stay and not a hotel. Or if you will stay in a hotel, make sure that it is clearly stated that they will pay for the first month of your hotel stay. True story, my husband's cousin, they just migrated to the United States this year. Guess what? The agency only paid for the first day. That is so sad. That's why you have to be very clear of the housing condition where they will house you, whether it's apartment or a hotel. Make sure that they will pay for the first month of your accommodation. Next, your contract should be clear about contract terms and penalties. So how will you fulfill your contract? Is it by days? Is it by hours? Some agencies, let's say for example, your contract is 3 years and you're expected to work 36 hours a week, but you like to work overtime. Ask them, if I will work overtime, will it shorten my stay? Next, you also have to ask them about exit penalties. For some reasons, let's say for example, na-disable ka or something happened, let's say you won the lottery and you need to exit that contract. You have to know, it should be in your contract, how much you need to pay. In my time, we need to pay $14,000 if we have to leave the contract. Next, workplace and career growth. Let's say for example, you are already working as a charge nurse in the Philippines, and when you come over here, normally you will have to start on the floor. Ask them, how long should I stay in the facility for me to become a charge nurse? Some facilities will let you do it after 6 months, others will let you after 2 months. It depends. Next, one of the most important things to consider is housing and transportation. You have to ask them, or it should clearly be stated in your contract who will pick you up at the airport. I had a very good agency. They pick us up at the airport. They took us, back in the days, I considered TGIF fancy restaurant, because in the Philippines, pag kumain ka sa TGIF, nung 2006 or 2005 ay nakaluwag-luwag ka. Pagpunta namin dito, TGIF ay okay lang pala. Now again, let's talk about the housing. Because let's face it, once you come here, if you are going to lease an apartment, they will ask for either social security number, driver's license, and your pay stub. You will not have a pay stub yet. What my agency did when I came here was there was already an apartment waiting for us. They paid for the first month because after 15 days, you will get your first paycheck and then you can show the pay stub and continue the lease on that apartment. So hopefully your agency will do the same for you and make sure that it is stated in your contract. Next, legal and ethical protections. When you are reading your contract, I know it must be 2 pages or 3 pages, but it will determine your future in the United States. Baka ma 1, 2, 3 kayo. If you don't like reading, this will be the right time to really force yourself to read. Read your contract from page 1 to page 10. It might take you 5 days. OA naman kung 5 days. It might take you a while to finish reading it, but you have to really understand what's written in your contract. Because once you sign it, that is binding. There is no turning back. And lastly, additional provisions. Make sure that your role aligns with U.S. nursing standards. In this section, also ask if the company you are going or the hospital you're going has a union and ask them if you need to join. And there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Pinoy Nurse Portal. Once again, this is Rebecca Balmes. I have the same name on Facebook and I am also on TikTok, LinkedIn, and here on YouTube under the handle Pinoy Nurse Portal. If you have any questions, concerns, violent reactions, please feel free to write your comment in the comment section down below.